Hey, how are you?
Howdy. I'm making myself a little snack.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I ate potato chips after I got off the bike, so that was my snack.
There you go.
hmm So this is your fourth year of BeltGrind. I found it when I was looking at one of the local cycling shops Instagram pages, and yeah, it definitely looks interesting. Are you the one who came up with all this and started it?
No, so keep those on. Wyatt, I don't have a computer. I don't have a computer for like a year now, so my phone is my computer. So apologies for like a shaky uh image.
That's okay.
No, so Wyatt, I'm not sure why Wyatt's a little busy. I think he's traveling, and I think that's why he's like, Angel, can you handle it? And I was like, of course I can handle it. So Wyatt had an idea to go out there and ride around back in 2017 on the abandoned BeltLine. At the time, there was only the paved east side trail, about 2 miles, and then the west side trail was under construction. And that first race was only about 100 people.
And what are your max out now for participants?
He's he's thinking we're gonna go over 1,000.
Wow. Do you still have
So
to
what?
have? Go ahead.
What was that?
I said go ahead.
Yeah, year one was 100. Year two was 250, and then year three was 650. And then we didn't do it for 2 years, so this is year four. And I want to say like 600 people from the original year four did not cancel because we were right on the edge of COVID when year four was about to happen. So there's about 600 that are still signed up from 2 years ago, and then anticipate there's probably gonna be another 300 or 400 that sign up for this year.
Oh, signups are still open. I thought I said it was closed.
I think for the race it's closed, but for the ramble it's still open.
What's the difference between the two?
There should not be a race. So the original race, again, when there was less paved belt line, you could kind of go wide open. But now that there's so much paved belt line, like there's 8 miles of paved belt line now. It's just way more dangerous. So this year, I believe the race thought was going to be like an out and back from a location and not in corridor. And it's just going to be pretty complicated to. The plan is to still do it, but I think it's going to be pretty complicated to execute it. We'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Do you have to do it on a mountain bike or a cross bike still, or could you get away with a road bike?
You still need at least a cross. There's like 3 miles of gravel on the south side trail that will give you a pretty good puncture if you catch a rock right. And it's still a mile or two of rock on the west side trail. And then there's a good amount of like what we call mud and rocks. And it's like big jagged rocks and mud. It's a pretty short section, but if you're on a road bike, you might not get any traction and you'll have to walk for a little bit.
Yeah, and then with my SPD SL plates, it's not exactly the most advantageous to walk in.
Not fun, not fun.
So what what was the whole driving factor behind this?
So I know, I've been walking in the corridor since 2011, taking people on walks around the whole city. And Wyatt has definitely been out in corridor before it's finished. And somewhere along the way, he thought it'd be fun to get out there, show people, what the corridor looks like now on a bike. And I don't think any of us anticipated the changes happening to it so fast that every year you would see new pieces built, new construction.
It's still pretty slow.
I mean, you can get around in 2 hours pretty easily. It's a 20-mile loop, so 10-mile-an-hour pace. You stepped across at the upper the top quarter is still active rail. So you got to cross streets to get from, the east side to the north, to the east to west. You got to cross on streets. But it moves pretty quick once you're in quarter because it's flat. It goes over, over and under 80% of the road network, the BeltLine does. So you move pretty well. It's flat. You don't have a whole lot of places to stop because it's not interfering with traffic.
From the looks of your house, you must live on the south side.
I'm southwest Atlanta.
Okay.
I'm
an architect, so I can kind of pinpoint where people's houses are.
Well, I mean, all these houses in Atlanta were built around the same time, 20s and 30s. Mm-hmm. A lot of times by the same builder. Yeah.
So you got one of those, is it a bungalow? One of those few people who got one before the prices went up?
Yeah, so I bought this thing in October of 2011.
Okay.
And it was abandoned. It's been abandoned for a decade.
It looks like you've done a nice job with it too.
Yeah, I was able to get it for like $14,000. It was insane.
Wow.
My mom and I built the kitchen cabinets together, and it's a complete rebuild. It's all brand new, everything, windows, doors, everything. It's all brand new.
Wow. That must have been a lot of time invested in it.
Yeah, 20 months from the day I bought it to the day I moved in.
That's still less than I thought. So is that right on the BeltLine as itself?
Yeah, the backyard is the BeltLine.
Oh, wow. Wow, you got a phenomenal value for that.
Yeah.
So where do you see, could you tell me how the BeltGrind works? Like I saw there's 4 different stations or checkpoints that you stop at. What do you do with them?
Right. So the checkpoints are really an opportunity to have fun. It's less about, did you get to this point? I think in the beginning, it was like, make sure somebody's doing the race and you had to like check in. But pretty quickly, it was like, oh, wait, we can have a lot of fun on this ride. And so have you had a chance to do BeltGrind yet or not yet?
I don't have a mountain bike or a cross bike. I only have a road bike and a tri bike.
I got you. So, yeah, so we're talking a 20-mile loop, 2 hours being out. And, you get 10, 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden you have a checkpoint. But again, it's like, I think one of my favorite checkpoints was a Kentucky Derby theme. So you have to get off your bike and ride like one of those horses, like a little kid horse, like the little pony with the stick. You had to ride that around the racetrack, and like all the people that were running that checkpoint were like dudes in dresses. So like very like, their Sunday best kind of thing. And it was badass. Like you just roll, so you're on a bike race, and then you roll up and there's a checkpoint, but it's like Kentucky Derby themed with hobby horses, and like, it was amazing.
And dudes in drag.
And so, yeah. And so that's the purpose of the checkpoints, is that while you're out on this ride, there's also 4 parties happening along the ride that you get to participate in briefly as you're going around the city.
It's a lot like the Chicago Marathon. It's like a huge party if you know nothing about it. And mile 8 is the section where it goes to their gay neighborhood, and there's lined with drag queens. So it's definitely interesting there.
Yeah.
So what are the other checkpoints like, or what have they been like in the past? They're different every year?
Mm-hmm. I think another one that's a big favorite was dinosaurs, and they put out cardboard on the ground, and the cardboard was like the safety of like in between lava. So like everything was lava except for the cardboard, and then the dinosaurs were trying to knock you off of the safe pads into the lava, and you had to like drop your bike to get through the dinosaurs and then run back around to get back to your bike.
So Oh, go ahead.
There was another year where like I remember apples. Like it was basically bobbing for apples, but like, yeah, you had to like hands behind your back, take a bite out of an apple before you could continue.
That's hard.
It's really hard. Yeah.
I would
And
imagine
so, yeah, just gotta.
it.
Yeah, you like like trying to get gravity to help, but it's like bouncing around, and you're trying to go, and you're out of breath, and yeah. So I mean, really, just simple things. I mean, you've got. I mean, it gets harder every year because you have 600 people coming through. You can't have anything that's going to take, more than 30 seconds a person. That's a lot of time. You start thinking about, so you have multiple people helping at a checkpoint so that you're processing people as they come through. And you're having something that isn't going to take a lot of time so that, people don't spend 2 hours just at a checkpoint.
So like, I don't know if you're familiar with like bike messengers doing an alley cat race where like you would get like a tarot card or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you guys? Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I've done plenty of alley cats in the city. So with an alley cat, you want to make sure everyone's going to the checkpoints because you don't want somebody skipping a spot and then winning when they didn't go into all the spots.
Yeah.
Because this is a loop, it's less about making sure people did everything and more about having fun on the ride.
Yeah. So what do you think the max participation is going to be for this? Because even 1,000 people on bikes on the BeltLine going both ways is a lot of extra. You don't get to move very fast, especially with people walking on it at the same time. It's like congestion.
Yeah, so I mean, we're probably. I keep telling people this is the last year there's going to be a BeltGrind, mostly because there's about to be 7 miles of construction over the next 5 years. There's like a special window right now where there's no construction at all. So right now there's no fences, there's no barriers, the whole corridor is open. But 2 miles of the South Side Trail will go into construction in a year. So you won't be able to get from our side of town over to the east side on the South Side Trail. And then another mile goes on construction on the West Side Trail in a year. And so this is probably like one of the last times, not only because of the amount of people that are on the trail, but because of the construction that's about to happen, that you'll easily be able to add 1,000 people to the corridor without conflict.
Oh, okay. I guess the last question I had for you is, has anybody been hit on their bicycle during this event?
I think I've heard of like some run-ins out on the streets because, again, you're adding a couple hundred people on bikes. But nothing that comes to mind. It's
Nothing major.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on we talk about being on the trails, you've got to respect the pedestrians that are out there. Again, you're out there to have a good time. You're not out there to break your leg or break somebody else's leg. So, being cautious on trails is the number one concern. And then, yeah, you're out on the open roads. So you have to be careful with cars on the roads and stuff.
Okay. Well, you know what? It sounds like a fun event. I wish I had a bike that I could use to do it, but.
You can do it on a relay bike.
What's a relay bike? I don't know that.
Bike rentals. Bikes you can rent in the city. We've had people do them on relay bikes because those things are tanks. They can hold up.
Okay. I'll have to look into that. Well,
Yeah.
Hey, man, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Certainly. Thanks for reaching out.
Yeah. All right. I'll sign up if I can get the bike.
All right. Bye-bye.